So good. Thank you so much for those very inspirational words. And now I'd like to invite Ambassador David Saranga to the stage, where he is already. You move very fast, David, for a short discussion with Representative Torres. So here you go. Mike.
Thank you, Representative Torres. A few questions. You are not a Jewish. You are a person of color. Why are you so committed to the Israeli cause and fighting anti-Semitism?
It's the right thing to do. Throughout is the simple answer. Look, probably the most common question I get is, you're black, Latino, gay, from the Bronx. Like, why do you speak out so frequently and forcefully against anti-Semitism? And, I simply reply, the question is not why have I chosen to speak out. The question is, why have others chosen silence amid the deadliest day for Jews since the Holocaust? Like, for me, what needs to be explained is the silence and indifference that we've seen in a post-October 7th world. And in the United States, we have a long and rich tradition of black Jewish solidarity. Like, throughout history, there have been Jews who gave their lives for the cause of civil rights. 60 years ago, Michael Schwerner and Andrew Goodman, as well as James Chaney, were barbarically murdered in the Mississippi burning so that black Americans could have the right to vote and live freely, unencumbered by the cruelty of Jim Crow. And so for me, the lesson learned from history is that we're all in this together. We all have a moral obligation to fight racism and anti-Semitism and extremism, no matter what form it takes and no matter what direction from which it comes. And so I have a sense, my starting point is a historical sense of our moral interconnectedness and our common humanity. And then I've been traveling to Israel for about 10 years. I'm obsessed. So.
Following October 7th.
Although I've never been to the Tel Aviv Pride Parade.
Next time,
so that's on my wish list.
I'll lead you there. I'll accompany.
I've been to the Pride Parade in Gaza City, but never the one in Tel Aviv.
Do you want to share with us some of your experiences there?
In Gaza City, no.
Following October 7th, you have become one of the leading symbols supporting the Jewish community. We read a lot of the hate speech on social media. Many influencers here experience the same hate speech on their platforms. Any recommendation to avoid it, to be indifferent, to react?
I think, as Nietzsche once said, that which does not kill you makes you stronger. And I'm made better and stronger and wiser by the struggles in my life. I think of myself as a happy warrior for both the Jewish people and the Jewish state, and I happily suffer the disdain of my enemies. Like, there's nothing they can do to harm me. I think Nardine Kaswami, who's the head of Within Our Lifetime, said to me that I should shut up. Shut the F up, that's what she said to me. And so I simply replied, your request that I shut up has been denied. I have no intention of ever shutting up. And in my view, the Achilles heel of most elected officials is a pathological need to be loved by everyone. And I thank God every day that I'm so socially adjusted, I have no need to be loved by anyone. But I feel like when you give up that need to be loved, when you give up the need to be all things to all people, when you take a stand for what you believe is right, that to me is the definition of liberation and leadership. And so I feel like a free man. I'm fighting for what I believe in. And I know that the long arc of history is going to bend toward justice, toward the U.S.-Israel relationship, toward Haktikva, toward hope.
What steps do you think the U.S. administration can take to fight the rise of anti-Semitism?
Well, first, we need more pro-Israel members of Congress. So if you're interested in running, let me know. We need like a pro-Israel squad. But seriously, no, we need members of Congress who are as visibly and vocally pro-Israel as the other side is anti-Israel. Like, we need to take the fight to the other side. You know, for me, there's an urgent need to reform higher education and social media, because those are the disproportionate drivers of anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism. And in the case of higher education, the problem is not a lack of legislation, the problem is a lack of enforcement. If you're a college or university that creates a hostile environment for Jews on campus, you are acting in violation of Title VI. You are violating the civil rights of your Jewish students, and the Federal Department of Education should leverage the power that it has over the federal purse, over federal dollars, to hold these institutions accountable for combating anti-Semitism in their ranks. That's it. And, you know, I had proposed, you know, what if the Federal Department of Education had the authority to impose a monitor on a college like Columbia University that Columbia pays for? The monitor would be on site, would see the facts on the ground with his own eyes, and would report whether a university is respecting the civil rights of their Jewish students. That would create an enforcement mechanism where none presently exist. And so I feel like we need a new model of enforcement, because as Albert Einstein once said, if we do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity.
You know, you spoke about the events on campus. What are your thoughts on the recent push to anti-masking laws? Because many of the students we saw there were with masks.
You know, for me, it's straightforward. If you are wearing a mask for public health purposes, there's no issue. But if you're wearing a mask for the purpose of intimidating or harassing or even committing violence against Jews, like, that is unacceptable, and you should be held criminally accountable. Like, throughout America, there's a long history of using masks to commit violence and terror. Exhibit A is the Ku Klux Klan. And so we should never allow the use of masks for nefarious purposes, for the purpose of facilitating harassment or intimidation or violence. We should have zero tolerance for that.
Thank you very much. I would like also to thank you on behalf of many Israelis who follow you, admire your work, and
too bad they can't vote for me.
They are not American citizens, but you have the emotionally support. Thank you very much. Thank you.